Good evening, everyone. I hope it's working right now. I had some few technical issues here right now because today I'm streaming for the first time with a completely different system, and I wanted to see everything on the big screen, but suddenly when I'm streaming, when I close the MacBook, it doesn't show anything anymore on my monitor. So that happens if you start new stuff. But guten Abend aus Deutschland, good evening from Germany. I hope you can see and hear me because it's really the first time I'm using this. At the moment, it's telling me for some reason that the connection is bad today. Can you write something if you see me properly or something? I got a little delay here with your messages. That's another issue today. Thank you, Conservator. That is good to hear. Because the first time I'm using OBS, and that's a little bit more complicated than before. But I had to because I want to use a different microphone. So first of all, hello, Conservator. Thank you for helping me a little bit more, with moderating today. Hi, Dano. Hi, Derek. Hi, Dude. Hi, Fred. Hi, Igor. Hi, Katrina. Hi, Leonard. Hi, MS. MS is the short form for the license plates for my hometown, by the way. Hi, Mini. I hope you received your mugs already and you like them. Hi, Ralph. Hi, Simon. Hi, Son of Viking. Hi, Sauerkraut, Tom, and Valerio. Good to see you all here. And thank you, Valerio, for that super chat. Thank you for informing us all the time. I'm really glad I can do that. So today, before I get into some questions you sent me, I do want to talk about a few things. The big issue at the moment is the discussion with Northern Ireland and the topic of the ratification of the TCA. And the European Union is definitely not very happy about what's going on with Northern Ireland at the moment, and the European Parliament is rumored to postpone the ratification of the TCA. I tried to get some short notice statements from some involved MEPs, but it either was too short notice or they don't want to give official statements right now. I couldn't get some to present you today, but I'm still waiting for this, and as soon as they have official statements available, I will tell you what they're saying. The only thing that is known is that Bernd Lange, that's a Social Democrat MEP from Germany, said that they still have to ratify it, and that they always said if the withdrawal agreement is breached by the UK, they will not ratify it. But he did not say anything about postponing the ratification now, how long they want to wait to ratify. The appointment was already prolonged, as you all know. They had to ask the UK for an extension because the TCA contains a paragraph in the annex where it says it is, if it is put in place provisionally by the EU, that will end at the 28th of February. And if neither they agree to a new date or it is ratified until then, the TCA is not valid anymore. But they did agree on April 30th as the next deadline for ratifying it. So it's still almost 8 weeks until then. So they do have a lot of time for playing with it. But the thing is that it's quite an incident. Then whenever the European Parliament wants to talk about the ratification of that in a session, something happens in the UK. So there is a conspiracy theory in the comments of my videos that the UK is doing that, especially with those points in time on purpose, to have the EU Parliament in the end not ratify this and then blame the EU for WTO. But if that really is what the UK government is thinking, that is, well, I have to say, I'm as many of my viewers say, I'm too polite, and I don't say exactly the words that are in my head now to that topic. No, but what I still don't understand is how can you play around with the well-being of thousands, hundred thousands, or millions of inhabitants? Because as I said in earlier videos many times, this is about people's lives. Every issue with exports and imports and so on, there are many small and medium-sized companies involved in that. And I just saw it's video and audio okay, but it's out of sync. That's really funny because the program I use to bring it to YouTube is always working fine, because that's in the last days since I'm using the new microphone is the program I'm filming with. That is really funny, but that must be the YouTube studio then, because OBS is working fine here on my end. I'm loving it. Okay. The issue about export and import and people's lives is that they are too often forgotten. I saw so many celebrations in the comments of my videos about a 30% decline in German exports to the UK. The same happens the other way around as well. And those people are celebrating this. How egoistic are they? They want to live their propaganda dream, and they don't care what happens to other people. They were talking about fish all the time, but they don't care about the fishermen. They're talking about many other issues, but they definitely don't care about the people affected, like people in agriculture. Sorry, just a second. Starting 15 minutes before going live? What do you mean, dude? I pressed go live at 6 o'clock. Okay. So we will have to wait and see, of course, if the EU Parliament will deal with that now by still having a look and properly scrutinizing I don't know what you mean. They wanted the time to properly scrutinize it, because we all saw what happened when you don't properly scrutinize a comprehensive agreement like that, because twice the House of Commons didn't have the chance to properly scrutinize things, and that's one of the big issues why there are discussions now, in one case a long time after the ratification of a deal. And on the other hand, it makes no sense, and they have to agree to ratify this deal if the UK is not planning to keep it up, because if they do the same with the withdrawal agreement once again, there's no sense of having a deal if they don't stick to it. And the UK government is not the most trustworthy government at the moment in regard to international treaties. And the other problem is there is a paragraph in the Northern Ireland Protocol that one side can unilaterally make changes to it in case of emergencies. And many Brexiteers want to talk the UK government out in the current situation with that paragraph, but that doesn't work. The paragraph is not made for situations you self-inflicted because you didn't prepare properly to set the protocol in motion that you signed more than a year ago. And it's not for situations that were already known before the ratification and signing of that agreement. Because the whole thing with the soil, the whole shellfish thing and whatever, the whole phytosanitary inspections, that was all known the moment that thing was signed. There is nothing new. That was all there that time already. And that is why you cannot use that paragraph to excuse the UK government for that. And the other topic this week was obviously another very incident timing, and that is about Scotland, because it's quite an incident that the Alex Salmond affair, as I would call it, just happens that close to the upcoming campaign for the May election. It's a bit too incidental for me. And we all know, even if you have a scandal, may be true or not, it does influence people's opinion about something. At the moment, it looks as if Nicola Sturgeon comes out of the whole thing only very slightly scorched and not really hit by this. And I'm not talking about, is the whole thing true? Who's telling the truth? When did she know about the whole thing? I'm not judging that one. I'm not sitting in that parliament. I'm not listening to her all the time. I don't have to chance to look into all the papers. I'm not judging that one. But a scandal like this never leaves you unstained, and that's the problem. And that's why I think it's very incidental that it happens now. At the moment, the polls for the election still look very good for the Scottish National Party. But first of all, polls are polls. There's a time shift in the polls when effects from something happening shows up. So we'll have to wait a couple of weeks if there really is no influence on the polls by that. And it's a very close thing in case of independence now. Of course, the one poll I quoted in one of my videos, I know where that poll came from. But still, the other polls were further apart in the in the past than they are now. It got closer again. 53% in the last poll I can take seriously is much less than the 58 I've seen in between by serious pollsters. Thank you, Mini Shambri, for another super chat. Isn't it convenient, Mark? Megan, Nicola, COVID. Yeah, there's a lot of convenient stuff going on, and a lot of stuff that keeps people's attention away from Brexit. Because without the pandemic, I can't even imagine in what state Boris Johnson would be now without COVID. Because a lot of things can be blamed on COVID now. And he can still play his propaganda with the vaccinations, with the strategy that he has vaccinated all the people once first to have really big numbers to show and play the big hero there. It would really be fun right now if we had the situation without COVID and just judging Brexit. I don't know where he would be then. And the other thing is, of course, Nicola Sturgeon. The attack on Nicola Sturgeon comes to a very good time for him. The Meghan Markle interview, they show it in Germany on 2 broadcasting stations as well. That's all convenient to distract from some details people don't want to see. And that's one of the problems. I'm talking about social media as well in this case a lot. And that leads me to one of the questions Christian Kruse sent, by the way. Social media plays such a big part nowadays. The fact that I am making these videos and tell my opinion to so many people is much different than 10 years ago. And of course, in election campaigns and what we call in dirt campaigns, it's used as well. And after all I experienced with the Brexit campaign and what a person that's now once again saying he's leaving politics did all the years, I'm really not looking so much forward to the election campaign for Scotland. I don't want to know how much dirt is flying when the date gets closer. And of course, other things. Christian asked, how do we in the EU stop the UK government using the integrity initiative troll farms against us? They're basically using everything they learned from Cambridge Analytica. It's one thing they use in it on their own public, but keep it there. No, I'm not of your opinion there that they can use it on their own public, but have to keep it there. That is a thing, an unfortunate byproduct of the whole issue, but it's as bad if they use it there as if they use it on others. And we know about involvement of Russian troll farms in other election campaigns where at least tried that, but it didn't work, but so far. But it's not that easy to defend yourself against something like this. And that is an issue because there are too many people out there. And I'm not saying it's a UK or whatever, it's England, no, it's everywhere, that are not really interested in properly informing themselves. A lot of the people that voted for me here are the same. If you don't deliver some information to them, they're not interested to get them themselves. They're not interested. And so they take all those headlines. That was the secret behind the 2016 referendum. That was the secret behind the success of certain right-wing parties in the EU and in the UK. And that's the secret of influencing people. But that's also the reason why I think that it's a really good thing that in our constitution doesn't allow general nationwide referendums, except for very limited cases, but that's complicated now, because the majority of people doesn't care. The majority of people wouldn't get themselves informed to really understand the complex issue they would have to vote on. And that's what certain groups are using. They are using the headline tactics, they're using all the propaganda tactics that are now known for 100 years at least, and they're using them pretty well. And in the social media times, it's easy to deliver all that stuff. I've had a look at just an overlook of all the newspaper articles from the last 24 hours again a few hours ago. One of the Brexiteer newspapers, as I would call them, in the last 24 hours had at least 10 articles on Brexit. Because it's weekend and most people are at home browsing, stuff like that. They are really hitting it on Brexit now, and they were, of course, all blaming the EU. It's a newspaper a certain person we all know once worked for. And there is a campaign running all the time on social media, and the newspapers now are more social media than normal newspapers because the numbers of people buying the normal newspaper are going down. And there is still a campaign going on to blame the EU, to blame everything on the evil, punishing EU, and the poor UK is the victim of the evil EU. And that with just 10 articles within 24 hours. And that's the way we will have to live with. But that will lead us not to actively fighting those troll farms, Christian. That will be a little bit like Don Quixote for those who know that old book. It will not work properly because the online thugs are usually one step ahead of the governments in most cases. They find something new how to do it, and the government has to react, and that takes time. And so we will never really be able to prevent that. But we have to start with educating the kids in school to make to be able to make a difference when reading stuff. If that's just propaganda, or if that's someone trying to bring facts, or if there's a serious newspaper, or if it's just a troll farm stuff. I will talk in one video tomorrow about, I made a video on the trouble between the UK and China with the broadcasting stations, the Chinese station and the BBC. And there was, just for fun, I had a look on the Chinese station's website today about the thing with Scottish independence, because there's an article, they talk about Scottish independence in the concept of the issues now in Hong Kong and why the UK has to stay out of the whole Hong Kong thing. It's a really funny article. I will talk about this in a video. I don't want to spill their nonsense, but it's really interesting to have a look on that one and the angle they are taking to that issue. But that's one point. In this case, it's a state TV station, but they are publishing it like a newspaper online as well. And people have to learn to deal with all the information in a proper way. And that is the challenge for the future. That's more the challenge than the fight against any troll farms. So it was a very long explanation, Christian, but I hope that helped you. Then, dude, one of your questions was so far off topic, I couldn't choose it because I can't open up a general discussion here on on every political system and every fiscal system we have with the comparison of a national world and a globalized world and so on. That would really take hours, and that takes professors whole pamphlets to go through that. So I couldn't pick that one. I'm sorry. And the other one I just didn't get. Your other question was, what's your kung fu style? Do you mean drunken monkey or something? That's something I know from a movie, but not much more. I never trained kung fu. So I have to skip that one too. Then I have a question from Valerio. Thanks again for the super chat earlier. Do you think that the Brexit adjustment reserve will be enough to help EU companies in the extra costs they are facing because of Brexit, or the loss that they are getting? Or do you think that European Commission can possibly increase the 5 billion budget? I have the impression that this budget is not really enough. Well, first of all, conservator. The 5 billion budget is quite a lot, and it's just for the Brexit damage. We have a lot of far more well, let's say COVID damage to the economy than Brexit damage, and we do have the Recovery and Resilience Fund. It is in place. The national governments are now working on their national recovery and resilience plans and handing them into the EU Commission, because there are certain rules for that, and they were set up by the EU 27. So it's once again not a dictatorship against the 27, but the 27 have set up the rules themselves. And so every nation is now making national resilience and recovery plan, which has to contain green and digital developments in the recovery, what they're using the money for. A third of it has to go into these areas. And so there's much more damage than Brexit will cause. Brexit will cause damage to the small and medium-sized companies that always only traded within the EU and never outside the EU. But I'm quite confident that the current 5 billion budget will be enough. At the same time, there will definitely be in some other countries national budgets as well. It's not only up to the EU to help the companies through this. So the French, the German government, the Polish government, the Irish government, they will all have to see if they need to do something more for their own companies as well. And so for the moment, I think that 5 billion budget is enough. Then I have a question from Brian Hennessy. Are EU identity cards no longer valid in the UK after September, adding hundreds of euros to the cost of a visit to the UK due to having to pay for passports? Well, first of all, they are not valid anymore from, don't know, was it end of September or beginning of September, but around September. They will not be valid anymore for entering the UK. But I don't know how you get to the costs of several hundred euros. A passport is more expensive than an ID card. Usually in Germany, for example, most people just have an ID card. So they could be spontaneous and could just say, oh, there's a nice flight for a low price. I'm just going to go to London for weekend shopping, as we did in the past. They can't do that anymore if they don't have a passport. They really have to plan forward. And a passport, I need a new one soon, so I really have to have a look at the price, but I think it's still around 60 euros in Germany. I don't know if it's really much more expensive somewhere else in the EU. But in Germany, it's about 60 euros, so it's not several hundreds if you don't count a family. Okay, if it's a family, 4 people times 60, that's expensive fun. At the moment, a visit to the UK is cheaper than it was 2016, because even with a small gaining of the British pound recently, it is still much lower than it was before the referendum. And so at the moment, it is cheaper for EU citizens or from the Eurozone to go to the UK and go shopping. And it's not a big issue if you come back with your shoppings, because you know that the limit for bringing something in when you're traveling yourself is much higher than for sending with the post or something. So it's about 420 euros that you can bring with you when you go shopping for a weekend or something. So that's not a big issue there as well. It's the same for, I know, people that are in, well, let's say a bit wealthier than me, that do some Christmas shopping in New York or something. They come back with the stuff, and then if they bought less than 420 euros, they don't have to pay customs duties when they arrive at the airport. So that's the same for the UK now. And so the passport will be an issue for the people who usually went there with their ID card, who never had a passport before. I know a lot of people who never had a passport in their life because they're only traveling in the EU or in a few other countries that accept the ID card. And that's a good point, Jasper. When you're traveling to the UK now, we can use the duty-free shops again. I couldn't do this anytime when I was flying over there or when I was living there, because we were all in the EU, no duty-free. Now that's up again. I told some friends there, when they come visit us in Germany, they can at least use the duty-free shops in the airports again. Yeah, Fallout Clash of Clans, my passport is running out in 2 months, I guess. So that's why I have to do something now. Then I will find out how expensive they are now. Although at the moment I'm not planning to travel to the UK. Then there's a question of Son of Viking. I did answer already his first question with my whole topic of the ratification of the TCA. But I really want to stress that one again. Because he was asking as well if the deferral of ratification of the TCA might put the whole thing into summer or something, and really damages the relationship between the UK and the EU. I'm quite sure, Son of Viking, that the UK is still flexing their muscles to see how far can we go. And at the same time, of course, in the case of Northern Ireland, covering up their own incompetences in putting everything in effect they need to fulfill the Northern Ireland Protocol. And what the relationship really will be, we will see when all those extensions run out. There are a lot of extensions still in place, as you know, until the end of April. There are no real checks on the UK side anyway. There are more extensions in case of services, where there are any arrangements for services like the Euro clearing. The extension is 18 months. So we still have a lot of time to go through there. We will see what happens really when this extension runs out, and I'm sure London will not get the equivalents for Euro clearing they have now. And the governor of the Bank of England made quite a fuss of it. Understandable. We're talking about 750 trillion euros there a year. And when everything normalizes, and with normalizing I mean that everything is really set in motion the way it is supposed to be now, with the end of the membership of the UK, when we have fully reached the new normal, then we will see how the relationship between the UK and the EU will develop over the years. And of course, in the meantime, we will see the questions with possible Scottish independence or not. And there's a funny thing. The EU wants to break up the UK is something Brexiteers always claim. No, the EU doesn't want to break up the UK. They are still trying to protect their single market, and everything they do is for the well-being of their members. But the UK has to understand they are not a member anymore. They are treated as a third country. And if that brings inner union friction, sorry to be blunt, but that's their problem. And the EU as an institution doesn't want to break up the UK. But many Brexiteers in the UK, including from Parliament, because they said it often enough, they want to bring down the EU. They are hoping for the end of the EU within a year. I mean, last Christmas, everybody was saying there would be no EU anymore. Still here. But personally, and I really want to say that, with all the issues, of course, coming up, but because of my relationships and my past, I would absolutely welcome an independent Scotland. There would be a lot of issues for Scotland in that case. There would be a lot of new issues with the border, a lot of very complicated things. But as a kid, I'm not that expert anymore about this. I learned a lot of Scottish history. I learned a lot of the tensions that were always there between English and Scottish in some very traditional families. And I think in some aspects it would really be a good thing. And I do support Scottish independence. And there will be a lot of issues. It will not be an easy thing to do. There will be frictions. But Scotland, from my point of view, will definitely be able to join the EU in that case. Scotland will do fine as an independent country, but not as a they will not be a xenophobic country. They will not cut everything to the outside world. They want to be part of something bigger. And that's, in a globalized world, is the healthy approach from my point of view. But everybody must be aware. It, from my point of view, would be a good thing, but it would be a very hard way to go. But I'm not trying to break up the UK. If Brexiteers that are saying, "Are you trying to break up the UK?" How in German gigantomanisch my ego would have to be to think I would have the power to break up the UK. So let's skip that one. By the way, Scotland, what you see in the back here, you can't buy. So that's not another merch thing here. It's just for certain patrons. But that's my board game Race for Scotland. I played it a couple of days ago with one friend that is still allowed here under all things we have to keep in mind. I'm delivering to her food anyway, so I have to get in there many times, but with all precaution. And I really like it. I learned a lot about the Scottish constituencies when I made that board game. I had to write a lot of Scottish constituencies names, but boy, I filmed another video today with Scottish names. I will never learn that. So Scottish is such a difficult language. Oh boy. But I've got another question from Christian Kruse. What's the point of the EU Parliament spending time and money on ratification? We had that. Johnson and the ERG wants a no deal, but don't want us to be seen as the ones to say it. And he's talking about a lot of insults they might use against us. If they want to go WTO, they can do that anytime. But Johnson definitely doesn't have the support of his full party behind that if he wants to try that. And of course, some people in the ERG, like Marc François or something, might think that that would be a way to have the EU not ratify it and blame them for it. But that's so far away from real life nowadays that I don't hope that really people in charge play with that. And if they call us names, who cares? The EU Commission, the EU Parliament, and the EU 27 don't give a fig what they call us. And do you know what I get called every day by Brexiteers on my channel? I don't care. So just forget that one. So calling us something that the blame game is on for many years now. Nigel Farage tried the blame game for 30 years now, while he was getting paid by the institution he hated so much. That was the funniest part of all anyway. And I will talk on Tuesday about Farage leaving the politics once again. I had other stuff before, so it will be on Tuesday that you see that one. But it's really fun that the one that brought the whole mess we're in now, because he was the main campaigner for Brexit, is the one that's running away at the moment when the consequences come, and when it's still the old party, but the renamed party has to face the first elections in Scotland after the whole what did you all say, shit hit the fan. It's a really interesting timing, and doing all this stuff and then running away the moment it shows its consequences. That's probably gonna call the typical Farage in the future. The same fun as I mentioned that in another live stream on the Brexit Party's homepage, with a new name, of course, but it's still the Brexit Party, you don't find anything about Brexit. The last time I had a look on that website, you have seen a lot, but nothing about Brexit. It's as if they never had anything to do with that. And until recently, they were still called the Brexit Party. So it's really funny that they used that topic for a long time to gain momentum. Well, in the European elections, not in the general elections in the UK. That didn't really help either. But they are now staying away from that topic, as we would say in German, as the devil stays away from the holy water. It's real fun. The other fun is it's a bad Sunday today. Only 135 viewers at top today. Or it's a completely new dashboard I have here, so it might be lying compared to the other one. No, but generally, before I talk about one more topic, I hope the microphone quality, besides the fact with the whole sync, I have a look in that, but the whole microphone quality is now better than before. It's a lot of different things I had to do here, because this doesn't plug in just into my mobile from which I was streaming before. I have to go via OBS now. I have to go to use my mobile camera. Still, I had to use a different app from OBS to get it over to my laptop, but all was working fine when I'm filming the videos, because the same way I'm filming the videos that I'm streaming now. And I finished the refurnishing of my studio here. So on the other side of the camera and the microphone, there's also now sound dampening on the wall. Now that everything with my flooded basement is cleared, I could do that this week. And so I hope the sound is really good now, because I really have covered up everything here, that we don't have any hard surfaces. That brings stuff back. Yeah, I know it's out of sync, but I don't know why, because I will have a look at this, as I said in the beginning of the video, because when I'm filming this, everything is fine. Now with the stream, it's not. And it's the first time I stream via that system. So I will not keep it that long today, because I can imagine it's a bit annoying that it's not in sync. And but it was important for me. As I said, YouTube is a very expensive hobby, with everything I had on the walls here and the microphone now. And but I still want to do this after that what happened last week with the stupid lavalier microphone. I want to get a proper one. So the last thing I want to talk about is do you, if you're not from the UK, plan to go to the UK in the next few months? Or do you plan to send something to the UK in the next few months? Because we have to talk a lot about the issues with the parcels and stuff. We are still having one on the way for a birthday. It hasn't arrived yet, so we're still curious how that works now. There was a lot to fill in with the customs declaration. I did that all for the friend. She's 80, so I did the whole customs declaration stuff and so on. And we made sure it's not that expensive. We really had the prices for every single item in there. My German viewers know Osterschokolade. And it's a birthday that's at the right time, so we could send that as well. I would like to know in the future if you made any experiences with that. And on the other hand, I will have another video once again in the next tomorrow about the whole holiday thing. Because after Boris Johnson announced that his step-by-step plan to get out of the lockdown, a lot of people started booking holidays. So I really would be interested if some of my viewers are booking holidays as well at the moment, or if they really say, let's wait and see how everything develops. And I have countries in one of my videos tomorrow that are already inviting British to come as tourists in the summer. And so I'm really curious to know if any of my viewers are planning holidays. The live stream will be, of course, online as a video later on when it's processed by YouTube. So please do write in the comments there if you are planning trips from the UK or to the UK in the summer, and or if you have made any experience yourself with sending parcels to the UK or from the UK to the EU. I'm really interested in that. And so I would like to see what you have to say about this firsthand. And as I said, please put it in the normal comments later on, not in the live chat, in the normal comments under the video as soon as it's processed. And I really want to get a picture myself from people that are firsthand in this. Like me, the only thing I can say, after a week, the parcel has not arrived. We will see. But sometimes it takes a bit longer for my parcels from the Netherlands, for example, as well, where my Max, for example, come from. Always depends on what's going on at the moment. As you hear my voice again, I was talking too much this week. So, but I had another topic, but with this sing thing, I think I gonna stop right here and have a look what happened there and how that's going, and then we'll see us live again next week. Of course, I will be here at 6 p.m. CET next Sunday again, and you will get new videos from me from tomorrow morning. I had to reduce the number of different videos a day a bit. It was a bit too much for me to get that done with all the work I still have to do. So you only get 3 a day at the moment. At 6 in the morning, at noon, and at 6 in the evening. And for now, I just want to say thank you. I will have a look at the whole issue, as I said. And otherwise, einen schönen Abend und auf Wiedersehen. And Jonty, yeah, you're welcome. I'm doing not only the Hamburg video, I always bring up certain examples from the practice.